or if anyone is listening to this podcast, yeah, if they could come out and join us in helping these young girls, giving them a future, it would be really great if they could join me in doing this, and we reach out to more young women who are living in extreme poverty, who have lost hope and all that. If they could join me and we do this, because two heads are better than one. So if we join hands and do this together, I know we can achieve a lot. I know we can change.
They said she can't. She said, watch me do it. Welcome to another inspiring episode of Podcast with Sheila. Our guest today is the founder of She Unit, a charitable organization based in Uganda that empowers underprivileged women with skills for life. She'll be telling us all about her organization in a minute. But before we go on, remember to help us spread the message of positivity by sharing this episode. Believe me, someone needs to hear these messages of hope, to know that if someone else was able to do it, they can also do it. So don't forget to share the message on your timelines, on your social media platform, and help us spread message of positivity. Hello, Christine, and welcome to Podcast with Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much for the opportunity to host me and speak about Unit Uganda and our activities here in Uganda.
Brilliant. It's a delight to have you here today. Can you tell us a little bit about Christine, your background story, how life was like growing up, all of that, so that our viewers will get to know and appreciate who you are?
Yeah, I grew up from Uganda in a small village called Chinda, and I'm the third born of the family of 9 children, and we are raised by a single mom who was the sole provider of the family. Going to school, I was able to attend school. Actually, it was because someone offered to sponsor me throughout my education. And that's how I was able to attain education through a sponsor, not until I graduated with a certificate in cosmetology. Yeah. And currently I'm pursuing a bachelor's degree in development studies, and doing my second year as a university student. But life was really not so good growing up from a family that wasn't really financially stable. And the fact that my mom didn't have any stable source of income, it was really hard. It affected us so much, and actually in so many ways. And it left, as a result of not being able to have a stable source of income, some of my siblings weren't able to go to school, because of the financial situation of the family, and the fact that my mom, who was unemployed, was the sole provider of the family. Yeah, so but by God's grace, I was able to go to school after I got a sponsor who paid for my school fee throughout my period of being in school. Yeah.
Great. Let's talk about your organization, She Unit. So what inspired it and how did it start?
Yes, She Unit started in 2018. Great. And what inspired it was actually two things. First is the situation I grew up from forced me into starting up something that could help women take care of their children, because watching my mom struggle to put food on the table, provide for her family, for her children, but without a stable source of income, was really so much torturing, Yeah, and so it was really so much torturing to watch her struggle doing hard labor to provide for her family. And initially, I was saying that maybe if she knew some kind of skills, life would be so easier for us. So yeah, I say, and when I went to the cosmetologist training, it was actually not because I really loved doing cosmetology, but considering the financial situation of my sponsor, it was what we could afford, and I had to give these other children another opportunity. Because taking me to the university would mean these are the people she was sponsoring were not going to receive the kind of education that I had received. So I ended up with going to a cosmetology cosmetology training institution, which of course I am not regretting doing that right now, because it is the foundation of Unit Uganda. Being there showed me that however small the certificate was, it showed me that there are so many people who couldn't even afford that small certificate. You know, so many people who couldn't afford going to the cosmetologist, receiving the kind of education I received. And the community where I was, as I was attending the cosmetology institution, there were so many young women who didn't have employment, who, you know, there was so much struggling, a lot of a lot of habits were happening.
Kind of resonate with your story at some point. And I think that during the week I had spoken to you earlier about the work you do and all that. And I said, I also at a point in my life found myself empowering women. And sometimes people would ask you, because what you do involves a lot of money. You get it? So people will ask, you need money. Because at the time I was empowering women, I so much needed money. And at that time, I had come out of the university with a first-class honors in textiles design. No, in industrial art textile option from the university as a first-class honors. And for some reason, I wanted to do things on my own. But I've come to believe that sometimes life drives us into certain places that we never thought we would want to be. But when you look carefully into wherever you find yourself, there is always a breakthrough. So it may not be looking rosy, you know, the kind of life you were expecting for yourself, you may not be seeing it at the point. But whatever situation you find yourself, if you sit down, assess it properly and look carefully, you will be finding gold in that situation. You only have to look carefully. And I remember at some point, people would ask me, you don't have money, so why are you empowering women to become better people? What are you going to use to empower people? But the thing is, once you start it, you always find the resources, or you always find a way to make it happen. The big thing is start it. I wanted to ask you, there's a lot I want to talk about, because actually this is my field of operation. So there's a lot I want to ask you. And I want to find out, what exactly do you do empowering the women? What kind of empowerment do you give them?
Yeah, the kind of empowerment we give these women is skilling them, you know, giving them hands-on skills. That's what we do. And for example, we give them training in hairdressing, that is braiding, doing dreads and all that, or something of that sort. And then you also give them training in makeup, doing nails, that is manicure and pedicure. And we also give them training in making some kind of stuff like shampoo, liquid soap, and conditioner, things that they can sell and earn a living from the product. And the skills we give them are hands-on skills and things that are easily turned into business. Like they don't require capital to start. You don't need capital to open up, to start making liquid soap, because most of the times if you get orders, someone pays you and then you make the liquid soap, then you deliver and then you get your balance from them. And for hairdressing and makeup, as long as you have, for example, for makeup, if you have the makeup requirements, someone calls you, you go do the makeup and then earn your money And for braiding, you don't need anything. If someone calls you, of course, they provide with the braids and all that. So your job is to braid them, and then you earn a living from that. So yeah, the skills we give them are hands-on skills, and skills that will help them start their own businesses and their own income without involving a lot of capital, a lot of startup capital, because these are people who can afford raising capital for a big salon, or to set up a company or what. So we give them the skills that easily turned into business and don't necessarily require startup capital.
Startup capital. Right. You're right. So how long has this been going on?
Yeah, this has been going on for 3 years now.
3 years. Would you say that the goal for setting the organization has been achieved, such that women come to learn from you and they are able to put it to use, start a business, and are earning some income and making their lives better? Can you say that?
Yeah, of course, we've been very successful with our mission. And the people who have been with us are working and earning from it, from the skills we give them. And besides, we've proven that by doing a follow-up. We do a follow-up to try and find out what these people are doing, after getting the kind of training they needed. How has their lives changed? Have we been able to change their lives or not? If we haven't, what have we not done that is maybe we need to change, we need maybe to do more. But so far we have been successful with our mission, and we hope to continue doing what we've been doing.
Great.
Yeah.
How many women have you trained so far since you started?
Yeah, since we started the cosmetology students with together with the liquid soap and whatever students, we've given training to 376 young women so far.
How many? 376 women so far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is brilliant, Christine. This is a brilliant journey you have taken on to empower women. And I want to draw, I want to highlight, make a highlight here. So from what you said, you had started this organization based on your mother's story. So you saw your mom struggling to raise 9 children, and then you realized that other women could also be going through that problem. And at that point, your mom was unemployed. But you believe that if your mom had some skill at the point, she will be doing something to raise enough money to take care of you. And then you happen to have a mentor to take you to school and then to the uni.
Yeah.
And then you studied cosmetology. In studying cosmetology, you found out that you could teach other women some of the basic skills. And some of them were hands-on businesses, braiding, soap making, and all that. And I think this is very, very, very brilliant. On this journey, have you had any challenges? And what are they?
Yeah, personally, I've had a lot of challenges on this journey, and sometimes you feel like maybe I should give up on this, but then you really know that people need this kind of service you offer. So the challenges I've faced basically how to raise the funds, to keep this going, and being a grassroots organization and being an organization from the African continent, because people here don't consider charity as something so serious. So it's really hard to raise the funds when it comes to empowering, when it comes to doing non-profit. You don't make profits, but you want to keep doing what you're doing. So the main challenge is raising funds to keep this going, to reach out to more young women.
Can I ask you, who is the oldest person in the group and who is the youngest person in the group? I want to know the age range.
Yeah, the age range, we range from, we basically range from 15 years to 30 years. Yeah.
Amongst these women, are some of them single mothers?
Yeah, the biggest number of these women are single mothers. Some are single mothers, though we have those who are married, but not doing financially well. Yeah.
Good. The 15 years old, do you have single mothers in there?
No, for a 15 years we don't have, but we had a case of a 16-year-old who was a single mom. Yeah.
Now I'm doing this because I know what the situation is on ground. And the thing is, sometimes we do some of these things and people think, what's the point? But it's saving lives. It's actually saving lives. What is a 16-year-old doing with a baby at this point when she has a whole life ahead of her to live? And you cannot blame them that much. Sometimes people will tend to blame the child for maybe being a spoiled child and things like that. But you can't blame them that much, because if she's hungry and she wants to eat and she's not got skills like what you're giving them, then she will tend to fall on other people. And in most cases, they tend to become victims to men who are looking to use some of these girls, give them huge promises and never ever deliver, get them pregnant, and then they bolt without even helping them raise the children. So we have a lot of these cases going on. Teenage pregnancies going on because they've had to rely on other people for living. But you realize that if somebody is empowered to start a small business, because nobody wants a bad life for themselves. Everybody wants to live well. Yeah. Everybody wants a good life for themselves and for their children. But in most cases, it's not possible. And then this is what we are saying, that we are offering them hands-on skills, soap making, hairdressing, makeup, learn it, and then use it to make money, to start a small business and then make money, so that when you need petty things as a woman or as a young girl, you'll be able to afford it. You get it? So that you'll be able to buy basic food, get life going for yourself. And I think this is a brilliant thing. And it's the core. It should be the core of every society, every thriving society, or every society looking forward to thrive. They should be looking at the younger generation and supporting them properly. And in places like Africa, where we don't have that kind of financial support, it makes it very difficult to do these kind of things and put these kind of services in place for women who need it and need it more. I remember back home in Ghana, there was this lady that had come. So I was in kind of partnership with another organization later on. And what this organization did, the other organization, what they did was to get women together and then give them counseling. So to get teenage women together, give them counseling and help them come out of that life, but they couldn't offer them skills to be able to make money, work and make decent money for themselves, such that they will not be falling into the wrong hands. So they had partnered with my organization back then, and then we were training the ladies. But there was this particular lady who had come in from the other organization, and she was a sickle cell patient and had one child. And she had been advised by the doctor not to have another, because the next child is possible will take her life. So we got to know of this, and we're trying to make sure she doesn't get pregnant again. But we can only do as much, because when the person is hungry, they are hungry. So she went back, she had a slip, went back, and she got pregnant again. And this time around, she was trying to hide it from us. So in trying to hide it from us, she self-medicated to get it aborted. And we lost her. So she died because she was trying to hide the pregnancy from us. All the efforts we put into it to make sure she gets better. We got her foster home and we were trying to skill her her son was being taken care of and all of that, she still went back, and then she got herself pregnant. And in trying to hide the whole thing from us, she did self-medication. And when we found out she had self-medicated, she had bled a lot, we took her to the hospital. So a lot of things, you know, and because she had a medical condition, they couldn't help her. She died. Some of these stories, there are numerous stories I can share. And some of these are happening. You get it? They are really, really happening. And I believe that sometimes God puts it as a burden on some of us, because I've just been thinking about, I was doing the same thing in Ghana, the same thing that you're doing. I had resource people to come and teach them hairdressing, tailoring, millinery, soap making like you're doing. And so exactly the same thing. So when I think of it, how is it that I'll be doing the same thing in Ghana and you'll be doing the same thing in Uganda? Telling us that there's a need for that.
Sure.
And I was even doing it for the illiterates and the literates. So I had classes for illiterates and I had classes for literate graduates. So graduates who had come out of the university and they can't find jobs to do. I give them skills so that they can start a business on their own. So I had two groups, for illiterates and then the literates. And it's so much needed in our community. And these days, people make money from craft. You know, it's a big business. There's a big, massive business in craft. Depending on how you do it, how you finish it off, your finishing and all of that is a massive business. So if the person is doing it well, they should be able to make a decent living out of that and not have to become victims to some, I don't want to use, but to some men who, you know, there are some people who can't just give you a gift and not have to take advantage of you. Our world has become so corrupt that anytime somebody gives you something, especially from the opposite sex now, they want to sleep with you first. So how are we going to get these girls off the streets and not have to become single mothers at such a young age as 16 when they have a whole life ahead of them? And you don't know when, or you don't know where your life is going to turn up. Like you had a mentor and the person was willing to further your education because you had a desire to go forward. Now why not create the desire for these girls so that they don't think of just what they will have today, but what they will have in the long time. I hope I've said it right. What they'll have in the long time, which is getting themselves skilled, starting a business and growing it and seeing it go that long. You get it? Because most of these girls, they cannot go and start a class of their own. They can't pay. They don't have the money to pay to be taught. Sure. Yeah, so most of them will have to start from somewhere. And most of them are definitely going to be starting from your organization. So what I am saying is, if anybody is listening, or if anybody happens to chance on this podcast and they think they can help, I think they should reach out to you because you are doing a brilliant job and you've got videos to prove that you're actually on the ground doing something. And this year, our mission on this podcast is to give. So the hashtag is to give. So, and it's been a difficult year all around the world for everybody because of the pandemic, because it was a global one. But there are still people who are well off. There are still people who have a lot to spend. There are still people who have enough to throw about. There are people who probably change their cars every year, even when it's not spoiled. Those are the people I'm talking about. Some people change their cars every 3 months. Those are the kind of people I'm talking about. If they happen to chance on this podcast and they think they can help a girl in Uganda, even if it's just one person, and they want to adapt the person and help this child or this girl learn a trade, reach out. Reach out to me. I'll connect you to Christine, or we're going to be leaving her contact links at the bottom of the video and in the description box. Just reach out to her, support her do this project. She knows what it is and how it feels like to lack because she's been there. And I always like to work with people like this because they know exactly the kind of pain people are feeling. So when they are on the project, they do it with all of their hearts. You get it? Somebody who's lived in affluence cannot do a charitable work you're doing now and do it effectively because they don't know what it takes like or what it feels like to be in lack. So they'll kind of do it lackadaisically, but you know it, you've experienced it, you've seen your mom go through it, so you know what to do, and you do it with a passion. You know, you do it with a passion. You set out to teach these girls, and you want to make sure that they've gotten it. And sometimes it's so difficult. I remember those days, it was so difficult because you want to empower these girls, but these girls have a mind of their own because they are used to quick money. And some of these quick monies are what will land them into troubles, like I said earlier on. You get it? So it's difficult to rope them in and let them see that what you're offering them is actually the best. You know, and it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of support. It takes a lot of money to do these kind of things, because how are you going to be teaching somebody to make soap when you don't even have the materials to use it as samples or, you know, to train them? Let me ask you, where do you meet for your trainings?
Yeah, we do have our training places. We do have one at our offices, and that is basically for the cosmetologists, the students, and for those we give trainings to in liquid soap, shampoo. We do it from their respective villages. We go to a village, get a place, and then they gather, learn, and then go home.
So do you have people helping you? Because training 376 women, that's a lot. That's a big money for one. Sorry, that's a big number for one person to do. Do you have people helping you?
Yeah, we do have. I do have a team. I do have a team. I do have cosmetologists who are helping. I do have those who know how to make liquid soap. And sometimes what we do, like if someone learns how to make it, then they again give that they come and train the other people. Yeah.
You pay these people?
Yeah, I pay them some small amount, but I pay them. Yeah.
So how do you pay them? Where do you make the money from? How do you get money to pay them?
We've been receiving donations for example, for last year, we had a grant. We used the grant to manage. Actually, last year was the first year to have a really big number of young women in our group, because we received a big grant from a Chance in Life organization, and it helped us do our activities very well. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited that at least you've had some grants coming in, but I believe that if you have more of the grants coming in, a lot more of these women would benefit from it. I believe that a lot more of these women could benefit from it. So what other things do you do? Do you think you can be selling some of the products you do to raise money to further support the organization?
Yeah, I think we want to start making liquid soap, for example, in big quantities, so that we can sell it to, for example, schools, hospitals, and raise some funds from it. Yeah.
Great. Christine, if you had the opportunity to request just one thing for your charity or for the project you're doing, what would that be?
Yeah, if I'm given an opportunity, the only thing I would request is for if anyone is listening to this podcast, yeah, if they could come out and join us in helping these young girls, giving them a future, you know. It would be really great if they could join me in doing this, and we reach out to more young women who are living in extreme poverty, you know, who have lost hope and all that. If they could join me and we do this, because you know, two heads are better than one. So if we join hands and do this together, I know we can achieve a lot. I know we can change lots of lives, because the thing doesn't stop at helping the mother. For example, if you give a skill to a mother, you're helping the children she's going to have, you know. So it doesn't stop at the women we help, it goes to the children and the So I would request for your support, and if possible, we could join hands and do this, keep it going, and we'll reach out to more young women who really need us, who really need to get a second chance at life.
Exactly. Exactly. What is your most memorable moment on this job? One that you never forget?
One that I will never forget. I have a lot, but there is one girl I'm so much proud of. I met her, it was even before I started Unit Uganda. I met her in 2017. And this girl has Koseos, like you said, you had one who has Koseos. Yes, we also have one who has Koseos. So when I met her, she's called Esther. I'm sorry to say. So when I met her, she was living with her sister, and they were staying in a container. You know, these containers.
Yeah.
It's really considering her situation, she needed a good environment, but they were living in a container, and remember, it's really, they are cold, so she was constantly sick. She was always sick, and they couldn't even afford taking her to the hospital sometimes. So when we became friends somehow, and I used to come in for her when maybe she's sick, I could go there and sometimes take her to the hospital and that. So when I started Unit Uganda, she was the first beneficiary we had. Yeah. She was the first beneficiary we had, and she got training in cosmetology. She now knows how to plait hair. She knows how to do makeup and all that, and she's working. It's unlike before when she was not working, because looking at her situation, the parents didn't even bother to take her to school because maybe they thought she's dying anytime. But she's still living, and she's healthy. She gets the good treatment she was lacking before, and she lives in a good environment. She no longer lives with her sister. She lives by herself. She hands her her money, and she now looks good, healthy, unlike the situation before when she joined us, or when she had a source of income. So I'm so much proud of her, because she has proven that when some people are given opportunities, they use the opportunities given to them. She has used the opportunity we gave her to improve her life, and she has changed her life for the better, because right now her parents are very much proud of her, because she so much comes, they now engage her in the family affairs. They call her to discuss about family issues, which wasn't the case previously, because nobody cared. If she comes home, she comes. If she doesn't. So, but now everyone of the family members and all that, they are coming to her. They are speaking to her. They are now they recognize her. They give her the respect she couldn't even receive when she was growing up. So when I look at how her life has changed, and how she's really growing into a very decent person, because right now she's even having a relationship which is really good. So when I look at how her life has changed, I feel I need to do this even more, because I don't know, maybe God would have provided for her in some way if we hadn't met, but I feel Unit Uganda has really done a great job in changing this girl's life. Yeah.
And this is all thanks to you. And I can't express it any more for people to know that you are doing a brilliant job out there. And it's not an easy job. It's a difficult one, because some of these women will come to you. Some may have gone through the ropes of life, So sometimes they may come to you depressed. They may come to you with one challenge or the other, but somehow you're able to help them overcome them. And what craft does as a proof is craft is therapeutic. So as they do it, as you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, you don't even know that it's kind of healing you from some kind of sickness or disease or some kind of mental illness that was going on with you. It does that. I know craft, in stories where craft has healed people of their limbs. They couldn't move their limbs, but as they kept doing it, now they can move their fingers. Craft has done a lot of things for people. So craft is actually a lifesaver, depending on how you look at it. So you're actually giving life to multiple people. So now we are thinking of, in reality, you've given life to 376 women. But remember, it's not just 376 women you've given life to. You may have given life to multiple women, this number, multiple this number, you know? So we are looking at maybe 1,000 more women, because what it is you've imparted knowledge, and knowledge is going to go transcend. You know, it's going to go on to the next generation, because you gave it to this woman, she's going to pass it on to her sister, or to her child, or to her niece, or to, you get it. So it's going to go on and on and on and on. So it's not just one person you've saved, you've actually saved 1,000 more lives. And I think this is a brilliant thing you're doing. Not too many people have the heart to do this. Believe me, not too many people have the heart to teach people a skill. It takes a lot of patience, because sometimes some of these women, like I said, they come with a lot of challenges, and the challenges tend to rub off you. Because if the person has a bad day, they make your day bad. You know, so some of these things, sometimes they can deter you from carrying on with the project. So it only takes somebody with a big heart to keep doing this over and over again, even when you are being bitten on the finger. You get what I mean? Because trust me, I know there are women you may have taught this skill, and they've come back to bite you and not even appreciated you for that. So when I say that it takes a big heart to do this kind of project, I know what I'm talking about. It actually takes a big heart. And it isn't everybody who would even appreciate the kind of things you're doing. That is why I'm still insisting that it's a difficult project, but since you are saving lives and making people come back on the track of hope, you should be supported. You need all the support you need, the financial support, the physical assistance, everything else. I believe that if you need a place to even meet, your community should be able to make that accessible to you. Your community should be able to, because you are helping the people in the community. So your community should be able to make that accessible to you. And then people outside who will hear the story would also be able to chip in, knowing that, one, you are impacting the community, your community is supporting you. Therefore, we also want to help save lives. And I think it's a brilliant job you're doing. Well done, Christine. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Because this is not an easy job at all. It's difficult. And I know it because I live it. So I can definitely tell you it's a difficult job to do. What are your wishes for this year? Any special wishes?
Yeah, for this year, we would wish to reach out to 160 younger women. We initially wanted to reach out to 60, but we raised the number, and we want to achieve that, give cosmetology training to 160 younger women out there. Yeah.
As we wrap up, Christine, what will your final message be to our listeners?
Yeah, the final message I would say is, for whoever gets an opportunity to help someone out there struggling with their lives, they should do it. You know, it doesn't matter if these people are going to recognize you. It doesn't matter if they're going to appreciate you. Maybe later on they will, but maybe they right now can't appreciate you, but they will later on do that. So if you get an opportunity to help someone, to give someone hope and restore the lost hope, we should do that more often. We should do that, because the world needs more of that, and love, you know, giving unconditional love to each and everyone.
This is well said. This is very well said. This is very well said. And I think that if anybody gets the opportunity, like you're saying, they should give. Now, remember, I just want to draw a scenario here that every time you give to somebody, so you're giving, this is a person you're giving to you. Every time you drop into that person, you fill the person up. Don't think you are empty, because you think you are dropping and then you are empty. But sometimes you may be giving somebody, you may give them money, it could be whatever, but you realize that you're giving off something and you're feeling empty, don't feel empty, because as you give, you receive. And the Bible says that give and it will come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shall men give unto your bosom. So as you give, somebody is giving to you. Now, it may not be in the same way you gave the person. Let's say if you gave money out, you may not be getting money, but you may be getting some help. You get it? Trust me. Everything that I have done for over 18 years now, helping women, and I have given my time, I have given love, I have given of knowledge, I have given of myself, you know, to support women. There's never been a time, to God be the glory, that I have ever wanted something and I have lacked.
Really? Yeah. I know.
And sometimes when I look at it, I know that it is all because of what God has empowered me to do for women.
Yeah.
And anytime you seek the life of one person, there is a blessing attached to it. So like when I help another person's life get better, there's always a blessing attached to it. Now, I'm not doing it because of the blessing. I've never done it because of the blessing. I just do it because I feel I want to do it. And I just do it because I feel there's a need to do it. But I have realized that anytime I do it, there is a blessing. So that is why I talk about giving. Whatever you give, your time, anything that you give, money, whatever you give, anytime you give, you receive. Anytime you give, you receive. Sometimes the process is very evident. You know, you can tell that, oh, it's because I gave this, I had this. You can see it. Sometimes you give one shoe, you get 2 shoes as a gift. Sometimes you give money, maybe you may be given, example, £10, and then you get £100 or £1,000. It's instant. There's been stages in my life that it's been like that, instant giving and receiving. You don't do it because you're expecting to receive. You just do it because you feel there's a need to do it. And you feel because you can do it, because you have the money to do it, or because you have the time to give, so you do it. There's been cases in my life that I thought, oh no, it's not going to be possible. Like, it's too difficult. I don't think I'll be able to get through this. I don't think I'll be able to get through this. And then suddenly I come out of it. There's been instances that I've been closer to death and I have never died, because I believe that the world needs me. And I know that the world needs me, because my purpose on earth is not accomplished. It's not even half done. So I'm not going yet, because I've realized my purpose and I'm living in it. So I know that nothing is going to take me out until God says it is time to go. And I know it's not yet time to go, because a lot more women need me. Just like a lot more women need you to stay around for that long. Because trust me, most women are relying on you to take them on or to help them start off. You get it?
Yeah, sure.
Somebody is looking forward to a training or to a workshop that is free and accessible to them, such that they can learn just one skill. All they need is just to learn one skill. Just one skill is all they need. And then they'll be able to put food on the table for their children. And then they'll be able to put food on the table for themselves, clothes on their back. They'll be able to have a place to sleep. All they need is that one skill, which is free to them. And that is what you can give them. That is why we are saying that if anybody is led or impressed to give out, it could be £1, it could be $1, it could be whatever. It could be a cedi, it could be a naira. Wherever you're listening to us, nothing is too small. Nothing at all is too small. Maybe, Christine, you have to open a GoFundMe project, GoFundMe account. I don't know if you have that accessible. You have it?
Yeah, we do have it. We have a donation platform, and we can provide the link to that.
Yeah, so please send me the link. I'll put it in the description box. Whatever it is, £1 saves life. £1 saves life. $1 saves lives. A naira, a cedi, whatever. Just put it together and drop it in for this young lady. She's doing marvelously well. How old are you, Christine? If you don't mind.
27.
27.
27.
27?
Yeah.
So at that age, if you have all of these, the burdens of all of these women on your shoulder, and you are impressed to do it, I think you need all the support. So whatever effort, whatever support people can give you, I think they should be able to do it. This is what is called ministry. This is ministry. If you're listening to me, everyone, this is ministry. I don't know why I'm led to talk this much, but I believe that is because I'm conversant with this kind of project. And I also feel led to talk about it because I know there are lives involved. And I know there are places where women have had to cut short their life because the pressure on them was too much. They couldn't carry it anymore. People have had to, go suicidal because they felt at that point that was the best option. But if they had heard about Christine's project, I don't think they would have taken that decision at the time they did. So this is a life-saving project. And I think that everybody at the sound of my voice, I know there are able people who listen to me. If you are touched by this message, reach out to the link and then just please donate. It could be £1, not too much. Everybody can part with £1. It could be $1, it could be 5, it could be 10, it could be 100, it could be 1,000, depending on your capability. Please reach out and support this young lady to be able to carry on. Christine would like to say a massive thank you for coming on Podcast with Sheila to share your story. This is a beautiful story of saving lives. We'd like to say massive thank you for coming on Podcast with Sheila today.
Thank you so much. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity given to me. Thank you so much. You're really doing a great, you're doing really something great to create awareness of this kind of projects that we do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're indeed welcome. So if you've been listening in, this is season 2, episode 42 of our podcast series, where we've been bringing your way seasoned guests with inspiring real life stories to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. Whilst at it, please drop us a rating. Don't forget, drop us a rating and help share our videos, our episodes, our podcast, help share it. Help us spread the message across our board because we need it to go that far, because it's all about positivity, saving lives, and giving what we can to support others. We have a video presentation of this episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Podcast with Sheila on YouTube and you'll find us. Our prayer for you this year is that the Lord will set a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Until we meet again, have a brilliant week.